What's going on, everyone? So yesterday, Christian Wood posted, I'm back, y'all, and I'm coming back next season with a vengeance. And I love this, right? Now, obviously, he has to live up to it. It's one thing to say that. It's another thing to actually live up to it. But look, Christian Wood, this time last offseason, we were, I believe, still waiting around at this time for Christian Wood to make his decision. But the consensus and thought was, he's the piece that puts us over the top. Right? I mean, it was like, oh, where is he going to go? What team is he going to go? Miami was a big player for him. And a lot of people thought he would go to Miami and it makes sense. And, lo and behold, he ends up picking the Lakers. And people were like, uh-oh, watch out. Right? Because this was a guy that was 17-8, stretched the floor as a big guy, right? Play power forward, center, even play the three on occasion, right? Not really a three, but, on occasion in the right matchups. And we even saw Darvin Ham do that with Christian Wood last season, and it had success, right? Remember him defending Kevin Durant and doing a great job, might I add, on Kevin Durant in that matchup for the in-season tournament. But Christian Wood just never really lived up to the expectations, and then he ends up getting hurt, and it was just like, it was a mess. And then he had the baby mama drama and all that stuff that just, it really kind of just put a damper on what could have been a really great season for Christian Wood, in my opinion. But I also think a lot of Christian Wood's lackluster performance was due to Darvin Ham, right? Darvin Ham did not do a great job of utilizing players last season, right? Rui Hachimura is another great example. Spencer Dinwiddie, my God. It was just like, Spencer Dinwiddie has had a world of success playing a specific role. And it was the role we needed, which was a backup point guard and somebody to take the pressure off of LeBron and D'Lo, particularly when they go to the bench. And yet, he just played him as a 3-and-D wing. Oh, and then the one game Spencer Dinwiddie had an excellent, he was like 26-8 or something like that, right? Like that one game he had where he was phenomenal was the only game in which D'Lo didn't play, and he got to play in the D'Lo role and did it beautifully. It's also the only game that the Lakers won without D'Lo last season. And so it was like, okay, finally, Darvin Ham is going to, he's going to make that adjustment. And he just did it. It just made no sense, and it still bothers me. Christian Wood is another example of that. Christian Wood is a big fella that can play around the rim and score the basketball, and on occasion, step out and knock down the three. Darvin Ham played him as if, at times, like he was a two guard. He was usually out on the top of the key like he was the shooting guard or something, right? And he utilized him as if he was a 3-and-D wing. He looked at Christian Wood as a player that could shoot the three and on occasion play around the basket. And it was terrible, right? Most of the attempts around the rim that Christian Wood got, and most of the foul attempts that Christian Wood got, came from him putting the ball on the deck and getting to the basket, rather than him on the block getting fed the basketball and letting him go to work. Right? I'm not saying you can't ever have him out on the perimeter, because that's one of the things that makes him special, is his ability to shoot from the mid-range, shoot from three, right? I do believe on most nights he should be our backup center. I do. Now, there are going to be certain matchups, certain nights where you probably want to go with the Jackson Hayes. But I do think on most nights, Christian Wood, because of his versatility, probably makes more sense and is just better suited in most of those ways. And I do think he can hold his own off the bench in that backup center, right? So I am really excited. And I do think JJ Redick is going to do wonders for Christian Wood. I think JJ Redick is going to slot players in the proper position. I think he's going to slot players and put them in position to succeed and have success. And I think Christian Wood is going to be one of those guys that really thrive because of it. I think Christian Wood is going to be one of those guys that really has an impact this upcoming season. I do see the thing is that, like, if you're not going to play him at the 5, it does make a lot of sense to have him be LeBron's backup. However, I like the idea personally of going with D'Lo and Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves, Max Christie, Jared Vanderbilt, Dalton Connect, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, Anthony Davis and Christian Wood. That's like your main 10-man rotation. And again, some nights it's Jackson Hayes. Maybe some nights you're even kind of scattering them both, right? I like that personally. Again, it's not even the starting five is not my ideal starting five, but D'Lo, Reeves, LeBron, and AD seem to be the four that are locked in the starting unit, right? So I would prefer Max Christie or like a Jared Vanderbilt and Rui or Jared Vanderbilt, Max Christie, whatever. But I just think that for being realistic here, or being honest, it's going to be D'Lo and Reeves in the backcourt again. So, okay, fine. Gabe Vincent and Max Christie as the next guys in line, right? So that way Christian Wood is basically primarily the 5 where he has the best matchup ability and he is the biggest mismatch in that regard. And he's also a guy that I really like the idea of just like being able to dump him the basketball and let him go to work, right? There were so many times last year where our offense just got incredibly stagnant. Like we couldn't buy a bucket to save our lives. And it's like, you have guys like Rui Hachimura. You have guys like Christian Wood that you can just put on the block, dump them the basketball, and just let them go make a play. And allow them to have that versatility to do it, right? And it's just Darvin Ham never really did that. But I do think that JJ Redick is going to do a better job of utilizing these guys. And I do think, again, Christian Wood can be a huge factor for the Lakers. Like, genuinely, I was pumped that we landed Christian Wood because this is a guy that can help with rebounding, help with defense, right? He's not really a shot blocker, but he can defend out on the perimeter. He can switch, right? He's good in the pick and roll, all of that. I mean, we saw it last year, right? So he's a guy that can score the basketball at all 3 levels. He's a guy that go get you 17 and 8, right? And now, again, I don't expect him to necessarily be a 17 and 8 guy on the Lakers, given that, you got LeBron, AD, D'Lo, Reeves, whatever. But I do think he should be, if given 20, 25 minutes game, I do think he can be a 8 and 8 guy. I think he can give us, maybe a 3 or 2, 2 threes. Some nights he's going to go off. Some nights he'll have, he'll probably knock down a couple more. But I do think, say he gives you a 3 a night and then gives you like 3, a putback, couple like just buckets around the rim, and then, a free throw or so. Boom. I think that's not that far-fetched to think that he can't get you like 7, 8 boards a night along with giving you, 8 to 10 points a night. Right? And that would be massive off the bench. We desperately could have used something like that off the bench last season. And it's just like when Christian Wood played, he did look out of sorts. He did look like he didn't really know where he fit or belonged or how he's supposed to play. And to me, that's on the coach. To me, it's the coach's job to really help you understand what your role is on the basketball court. Right? And what you're looking for him to do in these certain matchups and certain situations. And I just don't think that was ever there. And I think a lot of it was also just Darvin Ham's lack of practices and stuff, which we found out was the case. So again, if you're not practicing, you don't know where you're supposed to be. You don't know what your role is. You don't know how you're supposed to, provide help when you're in the game. So it's just, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting how this plays out. But I'm a big believer in Christian Wood still. Still think Christian Wood could be very impactful, very important. But as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you feel the same way? Do you think look, Christian Wood, he's still that guy. It's still in there. He can still be that impactful piece that the Lakers really need. He's a guy that can come in, play either forward spot early if you needed to in a pinch, and also the backup center position. Do you think he's a guy that will really have an impact for the Lakers this upcoming season? Do you think he'll thrive and really benefit from JJ Redick as a head coach as opposed to Darvin Ham? Or do you think he's, he is who he is, he's washed, he's not that far removed from being 17 and 8, So again, however you feel about Christian Wood, love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.